Fã de animação em stop motion? Gosta de histórias emocionantes e personagens excêntricos? Então você não pode deixar de ver Memórias de um Caracol. Vem comigo saber mais sobre o filme e conferir a entrevista que eu fiz com o diretor Adam Elliot. Olá pessoal, sejam bem-vindos, sejam bem-vindas! Eu sou Renato Silveira, do site Cinematório, e hoje você acompanha a entrevista exclusiva que eu fiz com o cineasta e animador Adam Elliot sobre o filme Memórias de um Caracol. O longa-metragem chega aos cinemas do Brasil após concorrer ao Oscar e ao Globo de Ouro de melhor animação em 2025, colecionando ao todo 13 troféus e 70 indicações em premiações e festivais desde o início de sua trajetória, que começou há exatamente um ano em Annecy, na França, neste que é o mais importante festival do mundo dedicado ao cinema de animação. Lá, ele foi eleito o melhor filme da competição principal, e aqui no Brasil foi premiado pelo júri da 48ª Mostra de São Paulo como melhor direção.
I wasn't always this alone.
Memórias de um Caracol acompanha a jovem Grace, uma solitária colecionadora de caracóis ornamentais e que tem um enorme amor pelos livros. Ainda muito jovem, Grace foi separada do irmão gêmeo, Gilbert, e a partir daí ela entrou em uma espiral de ansiedade e angústia. Apesar das inúmeras dificuldades, Grace, que é dublada pela atriz Sarah Snook, encontra inspiração e esperança quando inicia uma amizade com uma idosa excêntrica chamada Pinky, uma mulher repleta de coragem e desejo de viver. Quem empresta a voz a ela é a premiadíssima Jack Weaver. Memórias de um Caracol é o segundo longa de Adam Elliot. Nascido na Austrália, ele iniciou a carreira nos anos 90 e logo conquistou prêmios com seus curtas, já realizados com a técnica de claymation em stop motion, ou seja, a popularmente conhecida animação com massinha. Em 2004, ele ganhou o Oscar de melhor curta de animação com o memorável Harvey Crumpet. O primeiro longa do Adam foi lançado em 2009, o aclamado Mary e Max, uma amizade diferente. E olha, se você chorou como eu nesse filme, pode ficar com o lenço do lado quando assistir a Memórias de um Caracol. Fique agora com a entrevista que eu fiz com Adam Elliot. Na conversa, ele fala sobre suas inspirações para criar a história e os personagens de Memórias de um Caracol. E conta curiosidades sobre a realização do filme. Ele também fala um pouco da sua relação com o Brasil. Confira!
Thank you so much. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Renato. This is Grace.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, I won one of these. How do I get?
I don't know. I think IFC have got some. Yeah. We've got little mini ones, actually.
Oh,
get
beautiful. Yeah. So, Adam, very nice to talk to you. I'm from Brazil, and my English is not very good, so I'll try to speak slowly as I can so you understand my questions, okay?
Oh, that's okay. I can only speak one language and I can barely speak that properly, so.
Great. So I'll start with this, Adam. Your films talk about loneliness, but also about the strength of the connection between people. What is your motivation to tell these stories, and particularly the story of Memoir of a Snail?
Yeah, so all my films, are based on my family and friends, and this film is based on a very close friend of mine who was born with a severe cleft palate, and as a little girl, she had a lot of operations on her mouth, and was bullied and teased a lot. Yet she grew up to be a very confident, well-adjusted adult. So I was fascinated with her life story. At the same time, my mother and father are collectors or hoarders, not extreme hoarders, but they love to collect. So I was fascinated with the psychology of hoarding and why extreme hoarders do what they do. So I did a lot of research into that. I spoke to a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists, and it all started about 8 years ago. It took 3 years to write the script, 16 drafts. And they're very personal films. All my films are what I call clayographies or clay biographies. So they're not fantasy. They're all very personal and intimate stories for adults, of course, not for children. And also I have a fascination with snails, so it felt appropriate that the film link into snails as well.
I love the background, full of.
Yeah, these are some of the ones that all of these were handmade. I should mention
Oh,
in the film, there's no CGI. Every prop, set, and character is real.
awesome. I always cry a lot when I watch your movies, and it's usually in the final moments. I just fall into tears as the credits roll. I was truly impacted when I saw Mary and Max because I have ADHD and I connected a lot to the difficulties Max faces. I would like to know what your inspiration is to create these characters. You mentioned your family, people we know,
Mm.
but these people, these characters, Grace, Max, are in some way socially casted away.
Yes, I'm very fascinated in people who are misunderstood and are perceived as strange or eccentric when really they're not. I see everyone as having an imperfection or something about themselves that they wish they could change. And what my films I'm trying to tell people is that you have to learn to embrace your own imperfections as well as everybody else's. I never use the word disabled because I don't see my characters as disabled. In fact, Max, who is based on my real pen pal in New York, he saw his autism as a superpower and as an advantage. And I have a lot of friends with ADHD, and I'm also on the spectrum of OCD, and I'm just fascinated by the human brain, the human condition, what makes us unique, what makes us different to each other. And so I'm not really interested in characters who are heroic, although my characters are certainly courageous, but I'm really interested in everyday people. And as I said, my family and friends are all very interesting people. I don't know why, but I'm surrounded by, I think, very eccentric, fascinating people. But they don't see themselves as fascinating. They just see themselves as ordinary, everyday people.
Sure. The film has an undeniable comedy aspect, despite the drama experienced by Grace. What's the best way to take this humorous approach?
Yeah, well, I think it's about getting a balance between the light, the dark, the comedy, the tragedy, and that's a real challenge because you don't want to depress the audience. You want to make sure the ending of the film is uplifting and happy, and the tears people experience at the end of the film, I always hope are tears of happiness. But at the same time, I always say that if you're not an emotional wreck by the end of one of my films, then I've failed as a writer. So I really do want to take the audience to dark places. I want to make them cry. I want to make them laugh, but also want to make them think. I really want to challenge them, present subject matter that is thought-provoking. I certainly don't want to offend, but I do want the audience to feel emotionally drained by the time they leave the cinema, but leave with a smile on their face.
Sure, sure. Uh, how was the casting process? Do you already imagine the actors and the kind of voice you want when you create the characters? And in the case of Sarah Snook, what personal contribution did she give to play Grace?
Yeah, well, Sarah Snook was always in the as an actor, I really wanted to work with because she just as a person has a shyness about her. She has a vulnerability and she has a beautiful natural speaking voice. She didn't have to put on an accent or a character voice. I just wanted her to play herself. And I thought of other big name Australian actors like Cate Blanchett and Nicole Kidman, but I always kept coming back to Sarah because she had all those elements I was after. And similarly, Cody Smith-McPhee and Jackie Weaver, they all had something about just themselves I really liked. I didn't have to get them to act almost. They just were themselves. And Jackie, she's almost 80 years old, so she was age appropriate, and Cody's young and quite brooding and quite philosophical and dark. So yeah, I was very lucky. And then, we had people like Nick Cave, who himself is a dark person. And also they all live here in Melbourne where I live. Most of them live here at the moment. So they were quite accessible. And they love doing films that, actors love doing voices to animation. It's they don't have to wear costumes or makeup. It's a real, they see it as quite novel. Yeah.
Great. And can you tell us about your choice to make stop motion animation? What led you to choose this technique as part of your style?
Sure. Well, it was about 28 years ago that I went to film school, and I've always drawn and made things as a kid, as a child. I was also always very creative, but I didn't really want to be a filmmaker. It was only when I was about 25 that I stumbled into film school. But I realized that stop motion was an amalgamation of all the things I love. I knew very early on that I didn't want to do computer animation because I knew I just can't sit in front of a computer screen all day. I have to be making things. Even now on my desk, I have clay that I'm always playing with. So I love using my hands, and the artists that I employ to help me make the films are similar, that we just love paint and glue and clay, and it's all about the tactile, tangible nature of stop motion.
Great. Are you familiar with animated cinema made in Brazil? Do you have a favorite
Yeah, well,
Brazilian animation
actually,
movie?
yeah, look, I have never been to Brazil. The closest I've made it is Mexico. And actually on the film we had a lot of artists from Colombia. And my films used to screen a lot at the Anima Mundi, which, as you know, of course, is no longer. But I hear it might be coming back. Is that true? Anima Mundi?
I don't know, but it would be great. Now we missed a lot. Anima
Yeah,
Mundi
yeah.
was a great
And
festival.
my films won a lot of prizes there, and so I've always had a connection. But no, I've sadly never been. But I find that my films really resonate in Brazil, and I think it's because you have such a strong film history, and you'll also know what adult animation's all about. It's not like you need to convince Brazilian audiences that animated films aren't just for children, that it's not a genre, it's a medium to tell any story you like. So I feel that Brazil, a bit like Europe, understands animation a lot more than America, or even Australia. I really find my films do better outside of Australia. Australia is can be a very backwards country, and we're still a developing country, and we don't have the culture and the history like you do in Brazil.
I watched the Memoir of a Snail at the São Paulo Festival
Ah,
past
yes.
month. It was a great experience. The theater was full of people, and we can hear the cry, but has a lot of applause too.
Oh, great.
And
Thank you for telling me. Yeah, I didn't know. I wished I could have been there.
one last question: Memoir of a Snail. It went to 8 years to produce, right?
Yes.
And have you already started your next film. Can you tell something to us?
Yes. Well, firstly, it wasn't meant to take 8 years. Of course, COVID and financing the films, all my films is very challenging. So yes, I've started writing the new one. Well, most of it's in my head. I've started writing down a few notes, but hopefully not 8 years. Hopefully only three or four maybe. Yeah, I've got to get quicker.
So, Adam, thank you so much. Congratulations for the movie. I hope it have a successful career in theaters and in the award season. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
My pleasure, Renato. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eu fico por aqui. Se você gostou da entrevista, acompanhe o nosso trabalho aqui e no site cinematório.com.br. Temos conteúdo sobre cinema para todos os gostos. Eu também convido você a vir fazer parte do Cineclube Cinematório. Além de nos ajudar a manter o site e os podcasts no ar, você tem acesso a conteúdo exclusivo produzido só para apoiadores, entre outros benefícios. Acesse cinematório.com.br e junte-se a nós. Um grande abraço, pessoal. Até mais. Tchau.